What's up everyone? So today I am here with week 3 of POCL and I am playing in the XYLU tier against Santuga, a pretty solid player, once again like week 2 stepping out of my XYOU comfort zone. And looking at the teams here, we both bring two opposite weathers. I bring rain while he brings sand. I built this team around Belly Drum Polyrath, but he came prepared with Celebi and Quillfish, so it's probably not going to work in this game for me, though I know Kingdra can do some good stuff to this guy's team. Anyways, let's get started off with this battle. So I'm going to be leading off with my Gligar, as he's going to be leading off with his Quillfish. Now, I don't want to make any big predictions turn 1, so I'm just going to go for the Earthquake as he goes for the Taunt. Get some good damage off of him. Now, predicting him to want to switch out and not take another Earthquake, I go for the U-turn, but he ends up going for the Pain Split right here, which is good prediction on his part. So I'm going to go into a favorable matchup for me, which is Raikou. And instead of going for the Thunderbolt, I can see he has a Hippowdon there. Predicting he wants to bring that in, I'm going to go for the Hidden Power Ice. I am an expert belt set right here, so Hidden Power Ice does about 37%, which tells me that this Hippowdon is specially defensive. And so predicting him to want to set up rocks and not go for Earthquake, I'm going to go for the Hidden Power Ice once again. As he goes for the Stealth Rock as I expected, and now I just go for the safe play once again, just go for Hidden Power Ice. Not really afraid at this moment. He goes into a Scavalier, and because I'm expert belt, I can just go for the Volt Switch right here and get some more damage on that Escavalier. But he reveals that he has Pursuit on his Escavalier, so that's not too common. I mean, from what I've seen, I've only been playing Battle Factory 6 vs 6 to get experience in LU, but anyways, yeah, I bring in Gligar, and Escavalier is there. He just stays in, and I have to go into the only safe switch in that I can bring, which is Registeel to take the knockoff. And he knocks off my leftovers right here. Now he's going to pull a switch into his Quillfish as I go for the Seismic Toss. Trying to get some residual damage on, or trying to get some damage on anything he brings in, whether he stays in or not. And so I'm going to now pull a switch into my Raikou right here, predicting him to want to go for these spikes and get up more hazards on my team, because he probably knows hazards are bad for me. And so I'm going to go for the Thunderbolt right here because, you know, if he brings in Hippowdon, I can just go for Hidden Power Ice and just knock him out. So he brings in Entei right here. I go for the Thunderbolt. It does a nice clean chunk of damage to him. And predicting him to want to over-predict, I stay in and go for Thunderbolt again, but he just goes for Extreme Speed and knocks me out. So I lost my Raikou right here. But this gives me an opportunity to bring in Gligar and go for the Defog and get rid of all those nasty hazards. And I do just that, and he brings in Hippowdon. This also gives him a free chance to slack off right here. So I go for the U-turn, bring in Politoed, and he does go for the slack off right here. So I have to now predict that he's going to bring in Celebi. So I'm going to go into my Registeel, but he ends up going into his Quillfish, which I guess was another play that, you know, I should have probably expected, but Registeel was a pretty safe option on my part. So what I'm going to do now is predict that he wants to set up spikes and get up more hazards. So I'm going to go into my Kingdra right here as he sets up these spikes. And now what's about to happen is kind of bad in a way. He goes into Hippowdon as I predict he wants to switch, and I go for the Hydro Pump. Let me explain this play right here. So he told me after the match that he went into Hippowdon so that he could sack it and then go into his Stoutland and go for the Pursuit and do some damage on me. I got two things to say to that. Firstly, I am invested in my Kingdra in bulk. I'm not max speed, so I would have been able to take a Pursuit. Of course, that kind of, you know, if I hit the Hydro Pump, I would have missed different. I mean, I would have been playing differently, first of all. And second of all, I would have had the rain up on my side, so I mean, I wouldn't have lost Kingdra completely. I would have maybe had it for one or two more times to switch in and get maybe some damage or maybe a free kill of some kind. But that kind of cost me in a way, and I know some other people were also commenting about that he wanted to sack the Hippowdon and then go to Stoutland in Pursuit. But if he wanted to sack it, then why on the next turn would he switch into Celebi to take the Hydro Pump? I mean, I go for the predicted Draco Meteor play right here. So, I mean, if you wanted to sack it, why switch? That was my kind of thought about that. So, anyways, I go for the Draco Meteor here. Now he switches out to his Escavalier, and I'm going to switch out right here into my Registeel. Just to see what kind of Celebi that was. I mean, I knew he didn't have leftover, so he must have been Life Orb of some kind. So I just go for the Stealth Rocks as he goes for the Mega Horn. And now I'm just going to go pull a switch into my Gligar. And he's going to go for the Mega Horn again. Now I'm going to go for the Roost, try to get some HP back because, you know, Stoutland is going to be their problem. But he knocks off my Eviolite. It was kind of a bad play just to get my Eviolite knocked off, because now I'm kind of weaker in a sense. But I figured more HP was better, so he's just going to keep going for the Mega Horn as I keep roosting. hoping that he misses one of these times. Now, I guess he thinks that I'm gonna now just like stop roosting and go for Earthquake or something. So he goes into Hippowdon, but I just roost again. And yeah, no big deal there. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go for the U-turn right here. I'm gonna pull a switch into my Politoed to get back the rain. Like I said, it would have been so much easier if that Hydro Pump hit, but it's all good. So he goes for Stealth Rocks right here. He goes into Quillfish, and I'm just gonna go for the Scald just to try and see what happens if I can burn something or get some damage off of something right here. And alright, so he goes into his Quillfish, and it doesn't burn unfortunately, but I'm gonna now pull a switch into my Registeel, predicting him to want a Pain Split right now, try to get some HP back. So he doesn't get too much back, I guess. So right now I'm going to go for the Seismic Toss just to get some damage off of anything he switches in once again. He brings in Hippowdon, I go for the Seismic Toss right here. Now I know that another Seismic Toss is not going to knock it out, so I go for the Iron Head hoping that I flinch, but that doesn't work out, and he goes for the Roar, but it brings me out into my Politoed. Poliwrath, excuse me. I'm using both from the same family. So I'm going to go for the Waterfall right here. Just to see, you know, I wanted to see if he would stay in on Hippowdon, but I mean, of course he didn't, and he went into Quillfish. Now, hoping that I could knock it on this next turn, maybe I could get a flinch, maybe a higher damage roll. I go for the Waterfall again, but it didn't work out for me. I didn't get any of those two, so he goes for the Pain Split right here and gets back his HP. I thought it was worth a try. I don't know, but now I reveal a surprising move. I have Encore on my Poliwrath right here, and he ends up having to go for the Pain Split. Now he's forced to switch here. He ends up pulling a switch. I think he goes into his Escavalier, I think. He pulls a switch into his Escavalier, and I end up going for the Waterfall again. I get a nice free Waterfall. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull a switch into my Gligar. And I bring in Gligar right here. I'm at pretty much full HP besides the rock damage. He goes for the Mega Horn. And what I do now is I go for the Earthquake right here, just to get more damage off on that Escavalier. He goes for the Iron Head. And I'm just going to go for the Roost because I know that, you know, Stoutland is a problem right now. Because Stoutland can pretty much rip my team apart if the rain's not up. So I got to get that Gligar back to full health, especially since I lost my Eviolite. So now I heal up, I make a switch into my Registeel to take the return. And I pretty much sack the Registeel so that I could bring out Politoed to get my rain back up right now. So I've already lost 2 Pokemon, he hasn't lost anything yet, so it's kind of sucks for me, but I would have killed that Hippowdon. But anyways, he sacks the Escavalier to the rocks. I make a switch into my Poliwrath right here because, you know, I don't want to take a return from the Stoutland. And so I get my Poliwrath here in the rain. He brings in Celebi. Now, that's kind of a misplay on his part because he forgets that I have Swift Swim on my Poliwrath, so I'm able to knock that out with the Waterfall. Now he's going to pull a switch right now into his Entei, because of course Entei has Extreme Speed, so he's going to be able to knock me out. But I make a switch into my Gligar so that I'll be able to take that Extreme Speed fairly well. And I want to get my health back up, so I'm going to be going for the Roost right now. And I do just that. I go for the Roost. Now the best play that I can make is to go for the U-turn so that I can get a free switch into one of my Split Swimmers. If I stayed in, Gligar would have died. So I went into my Poliwrath right now, trying to force him out. And I go for the Brick Break here over the Waterfall. I do a Calc. Waterfall in the rain was a really low chance of knocking out that Stoutland at whatever health it was at. So I end up going for the Brick Break, which was a guaranteed knockout from that range. He brings in his Poliwrath, and I just go for the Waterfall here. I know I can knock it out in 2 hits, and Poliwrath really can't, Quillfish really can't knock out my Poliwrath, so I'm going to go for the Waterfall once again, and I'm going to be able to knock it out. So the Quillfish is gone, and he's going to bring in his, I believe, okay, he brings in his Stoutland right now. And I don't want to lose Poliwrath just yet, so I'm going to make a switch. I'm going to sack the Gligar right now, because Gligar is not really that useful anymore, because I just die from that health to anything. And yeah, he's going to go for the return. I bring in Politoed right here to get up the rain. And he's going, and I have to make a switch once again, because, you know, return's going to kill me. Gotta sack my Poliwrath now. He's going to go for the return. And I'm going to bring out my Kingdra right here. And he's going to go into his Hippowdon from this turn, and he's going to sack that, get back up his Sand. So pretty much it's all just sacking Pokemon right now. And I go for the Scald. Now he brings in his Stoutland once again. And let me pause right here for a second, because this is a 50-50 right here, and either I can stay in and go for the Scald and knock him out and he goes for return, or I can switch, which is the safer play, into my Politoed to get back up the rain, and he can pursue to knock me out. So this is a 50-50 right here. And of course, I lose the 50-50. Horrible. Alright, anyways, I lost the 50-50 there. So it was all just, you know, it was just that. I just lost it. So I switched. He predicted that I'd make the safe play, and it cost me. So really good game, man. You know, it was a really good game overall. The miss kind of sucked. I mean, I kind of have my reasons why, but you know, a good game, so I'm not really going to complain about it, and I'm not even disappointed at all, because you know, it was close, and you know, I'm 2-1 right now, 2 wins, 1 loss in POCL, so it's all good. It's all good. So it's a pretty good record so far, I guess. But I hope you guys enjoyed it overall, and this was a really good battle. I liked it a lot, and I had a lot of fun, and hope you guys enjoyed it as well. And I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.